Good day, everyone, especially to our teacher, Doc Albert Musico, and to you, my classmates. Good day to all of us. Today, I will be discussing another interesting topic about research. So, I will be discussing what is research question and at the same time, how to formulate research question. All right, today we're going to discuss what is research question first. So as mentioned here, what is research question? Now our question which the research sets to answer. So basically the purpose or the reason why we have research question is actually to make the researchers be guided throughout the research journey because the questions are actually what is to be answered in the entire research. Another one, it is also defined as a clear research statement or a problem that must be translated into a research question. Another one here, research question to be fact-oriented information gathering question. Another one, research question must be capable of being confirmed or refuted. So therefore, it is really important to really define research question in a most clear way and also in a very researchable way because as what is mentioned here, it should be fact oriented. So you should not just have research question based on your opinion because it is based or it could be totally anchored into factual or information related statements or data. So, what is the importance of a research question? So, it helps refine broad topics into researchable variables. So, basically, our research topic is really broad, or it could be like it could have a lot of scope, but because of the research problem or because of the statement of problem, we will be able to actually refine the broad topics in our research and also specify what are the scope of our research because we have these research questions. So what are the characteristics of a good research question? Now, first, it must be relevant. So therefore, you should not just create or make or write any research question that are not related to the topic or that has different focuses. So it should be anchored on topic or on the research title. Now, next, it should be interesting. So the reason why we have research question is in order for us to be guided. So basically, it should be interesting in order for us to actually make our research also relatable and at the same time interesting in the views of our audiences or for the readers. Next, it should be focused and specific. So the main reason why we have research problem is actually to specify and refine the broad topics in our research. So it should be focused and specific because it will answer the questions or the scope of our research, of our entire research. So it should be researchable in the sense that we could be able to find any resources or any other related resources that we could actually anchor our research question. So therefore, it should not just be based on your opinion, but also it should really be fact-filled statements or questions. Another definition here about research question is that it is defined as the area of interest, but it's not a declarative statement like a hypothesis. So it actually defines the scope, the interest of the research or what the research focuses onto. So it could be either in one question, two question, and three questions. So, but no, it is also different from the hypothesis because it is not stated in a declarative statement. It isn't in a question form. So another one, research question is main broad questions, general focus. So therefore, it should be focused and specified. So next, research question may be complemented by a few investigative questions or secondary sub-questions specific to narrow focus or important or data measurement. So what is the main purpose of doing research? So we have two reasons here. First, to fill gaps or academic research. So basically, why we have research is we want to answer some questions, we want to have solution to a certain problem, and of course, to fill in the knowledge gap. So therefore, we want to also give a solution to those gaps or a certain answer to those gaps. Number two, for problem solving. So basically, there are a lot of researches or types of researches. So the main focus also why do we research or why do we have or why do we do research is actually to solve a certain problem or a certain to give solution to a certain problem. So in qualitative study, both qualitative and actually quantitative studies then suit for some topics, and some topics are well suited for qualitative study, topics that are loosely defined. No? So research question become clear only during the research process for the qualitative study because it's all about descriptives and it's all about narratives or explanations for this qualitative research or study. So data is used to narrow the focus in qualitative study. So therefore, literature review really helps in this process of or for qualitative study. On the other hand, for quantitative study, topic is narrowed into a focused research question. So focusing the question helps in developing a testable hypothesis in quantitative study. So research question refer to the relationship among a small number of variables. So this is basically for quantitative study. Now, listing variables is needed to focus the topic on a research question. So it is really important that in the quantitative study, variables should be focused also in order for you to create or to actually make a very good research question. So there are steps in developing a research question. So this is how we can actually effectively formulate a research or a good research question. So first here in the list, choose an interesting general topic. Most professional researchers focus on topics they are genuinely interested in studying. So therefore, first and foremost, you really need to choose a very interesting topic. So aside from having an interesting topic, make sure that you as a researcher should focus on the topics that you are interested into, because if you're not interested, there is a possibility that you cannot really pursue that study or you cannot really finish the study because you're not interested into doing so. So therefore, you should have a very interesting topic that is also that you also find interested to study. Next year, do some preliminary research on your general topic. So basically, you will not just proceed going to building or making a research question without doing research, without doing some review of some literature. So therefore, because it was mentioned even a while ago in my previous slides that you should have fact-filled research questions. So therefore, there should be supporting researches and supporting details with regards to that. So it is really important to anchor it to some researchers or established researches. Okay, so next, consider your audience. So it is basically the most important thing in the process to consider or to always give focus on your possible or your target audiences. Because if that is the case, that you will not focus your research question, or in building your research question, you will not give focus on the audiences, there is a possibility that you will have problems in the next coming procedures, because basically you cannot really pursue those questions or actually conduct those methods in the that could actually answer the questions if you will not give focus on the audience, or if you will not know the audience or will not identify who will be your audiences. So basically, it's very important to consider the audiences. Another one here, start asking questions. So here, you would evaluate what are the possible questions that could answer your topic, the general topic that you have, or the research title that you have. So basically, here in started asking question, you need to basically assess what are the necessary questions that could help build the scope of your research. So here you could actually create 3 questions for this one, or there are also some instances that you could actually just create 2, but it also depends on the things that are asked to you. So another one here, after you have built or created your research question, you need to evaluate your question. You need to assess your questions, if your questions are good enough, or if your questions could really answer the things that or the scope that you wanted to include in your research, or if the things that you have put in your research questions are already enough or are already focused and specified in accordance to or in anchored to your research title or topic. Then Here, on the next step, you will begin your research. So as you establish your research question, you will begin your research. So basically, this building or formulating research question is very important, not just for making a question itself, but of course, as I've mentioned, even in the previous slide, this is the anchor or this is the basis or the guidance of the researchers to be focusing on the specific things that you should be answering in your research. So in the entire research. So this is actually, or formulating question is actually the thing that would actually help you be guided in your research, because this defines the scope and the specific things that you should answer in your research. So we have some examples here for research question. So first here we have single question. So example here is presented on the screen. Which methods and tools should be developed to make current manufacturing control or supervision systems reusable and swiftly modifiable? So this is an example for a single question. For another one, we also have here for multiple questions. So as what I have mentioned, it really depends, or it totally depends on how many questions you want to answer or you want to focus on your research. So here, as presented, there are 4 multiple questions. So they are actually connected with each other. These questions are totally connected with each other. Here is an example of research title together with the SOP or the research question. So our research title here is Speaking from a Digital World, Valuing Oral Communication Skills During the Pandemic. So basically, our research title focuses on the oral communication skills in this pandemic and valuing those oral communication skills. So first on the list of the statement of the problem is what is or are the different oral communication skills or skill most commonly used during the pandemic. So basically, we first want to identify what are the commonly used oral communication skills in this time of pandemic, in order for us to establish the oral communication skills on that part, or what are the different oral communication skills in this pandemic or used in this pandemic. Next on the list, we have here what is or what are the functions of these oral communication skills most commonly used during the pandemic. So here in the second statement of the problem, we want first also to identify what are the functions of the oral communication skills that we have already identified in the first SOP. So basically, we also want to identify the functions or the different functions of the most commonly used oral communication skills in this time of pandemic. Next here, the last SOP that we have, or the last research question that we have, is what is or what are the advantages of these most commonly used oral communication skills. So we also want to discuss what are the different advantages of the oral communication skills that we have identified already in the first SOP. So basically, if we will try to look at these SOPs, we could actually come up to the different SOP and to the functions, and of course to the advantages of the different oral communication skills used in this time of pandemic. So basically, we want to see, or we want to show the value and the importance of the oral communication skills in this time of pandemic. Especially, we are really challenged with this pandemic that we have today, and that I hope not all of us can still cope up with our oral communication skills, or the skills that we are using in this time of pandemic and with the challenges that we are facing right now. All right, so these are the SOPs for that particular research title. All right, so that would be for my report. So basically, I have discussed 3 things. First is what is research problem. Second is how to formulate, or what are the steps in formulating SOP or research problem. And the third, I have presented some examples of SOP, specifically the one that was given to us, the research title that I have presented a while ago in my previous slide. All right, so that would be for this report. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope we have learned something for this discussion. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.